Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the next Trainwreck episode. Yes, I know we promised you last time that we will be doing a science episode again. Well, that didn't happen because E3 happened, and E3 was a Trainwreck. I am sitting here with Muaz. Say hello, Muaz.
Hello, Moaz.
Thank you. And of course, I am your host for this week, Chris. So, what are we playing today, Muaz?
We're playing Overcooked.
We are playing
one of my
Overcooked.
favorite couch co-op games of all time.
I've been meaning to get this. I've genuinely been meaning to get this. He says as he adjusts his chair into the awesome position. Right, so I've never played this before, so you're gonna have to help me a little bit.
Oh, no, the starting levels do a good job explaining it. Let's just go straight into it.
Okay, so click campaign,
New game.
new, confirm. Are you sure you have?
Oh no, we finished the entire game in 2 nights. I don't know what about that. And
Oh wait, I can choose my face, can't I?
yes, you may.
I can. What is that? Is that a fox?
Yeah, that's a fox.
Sweet. I might choose the fox then.
What is this?
Raccoon. Yeah, why not a fox?
Go. Push A.
Push it again. Well,
So-
X on my controller because I of course have the superior PlayStation 4 controller and you have an all 360 controller.
Mm-hmm.
In the not so distant future, what is
The
what's
game
happening?
starts with the apocalypse.
No, that's.
And that's how all games should start.
I mean, some games start with you starting the apocalypse. I believe Infamous is the good example of that, with you literally blowing up the city.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. The end times. The beast is approaching. We must act.
Basically, we need to feed the beast.
Blah, 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 blah. Right, so what happened this week? This week we had E3.
Mm-hmm.
And we started off with the EA press conference, which technically happened before the official E3 press conferences.
Mm-hmm. Because they deserve better.
Funny joke.
I love EA so much.
Funny joke.
So, let's start. EA, what did they show?
EA showed us almost...
Pick up the thing, take it to the board,
take it to the board. And
chop
then
it up. Go. Bring it back here.
Put it on a plate.
Yeah. And that's the basic premise. So, carry on. What did EA do?
So EA, the quite clever clocks that they are, decided to start the presentation with sports.
Mm-hmm.
Many sports, and you could see the numbers on Twitch just vanishing.
Well, the thing is, sports games are the EA's bread and butter right now, especially with FIFA and NFL and NBA and all the other acronyms. It has an audience, and it has an audience that isn't necessarily the type of audience that plays video games, am I right?
True, it's also not necessarily the audience that wishes to attend these conferences. Dude, no, I'm not chopping that. Look at the order.
Okay.
And unfortunately, because of, I would say, the primary audience for those type of games just plainly not being there, the conference fell a bit short.
Well, it started on a low note, basically.
It started on somewhat of a low note. And then we very quickly went to stuff like, what's it now?
Well, they showed what's name again, Anthem, which is EA's take on the Destiny Division style game. They had what else did they have?
They had BioWare's new IP, which I think was
that was
then
Anthem.
shown properly. Oh, was it Anthem?
Yes, it was Anthem.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot to say. Oh, yes. Then came Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Battlefront 2.
Then came the Battlefront 2 game, which looked exactly the same as... Oh, wait. What's this?
Yeah.
Into the Time Portal. Oh, yes, I remember seeing this on YouTube.
Yeah.
I watched the Yogscast play this, which is why I'm interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they showed us Star Wars, and if I didn't know any better, it looked exactly like the previous one, except they just had new stuff.
Well, they trying to go through all 3 generations of Star Wars, prequel era.
Yeah, but in terms of actual gameplay, it looked exactly the same.
Well, they did say they are going to have a single player campaign right now, a bit more, what do we say? Yeah, it's basically the same, Here's the thing, I never really care about the original Battlefront when they announced it. Mostly because it was a watered down Battlefield. That's all it really was. Really watered down Battlefield with a Star Wars skin. Not much more to say about it.
I guess.
Nah, where are you going?
I'm gonna chop up the onions.
It's really difficult to talk and play at the same time.
Yeah, well, now you know what YouTubers have to go through.
Yeah, poor YouTubers.
With all their money and their easy lifestyles.
It's not an easy lifestyle. It's work to make a video.
It's work to make a video, yes, but I mean, have you smelled YouTubers sometimes?
No, I
They
haven't.
smell like you. And for those listening who don't know, Moaz kind of smells a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up my car today, so that's the thing.
Yeah, we transitioned from
Yeah,
EA.
from EA to cars. But we'll go hand over the plate.
Ding.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, wrong one. Can't chop it up here. What is this?
Oh yeah, we need to clean the dirty plates.
For heaven's sake,
So
chop it.
Yeah.
No, I'll get it.
I'll clean the plate.
No. Whoops, wrong. Put it on. Damn it. Okay, so after that, what did EA do?
After Battlefront, we had. No, it's really hard to remember. They showed off Need for Speed also, which I'm interested in, because story-driven Need for Speed was probably one of the best ones.
Really? I thought it was one of the weakest ones.
Have you not played Most Wanted? The original Most Wanted.
Okay. Let me tell you a tale of young Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Young Chris who discovered Need for Speed on the PlayStation 1, the original Need for Speed. There was no story, there was racing, there was cars, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And this Need for Speed had all kinds of cutscenes and story and people yelling at the screen and...
Well, they were targeting a very specific demographic.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm happy with this demographic.
Well, it's Fast and the Furious. That's basically what they made.
Yeah, it was Fast and the Furious, the video game, and it's like, why?
Well, Fast and Furious should have been a video game according to some people. Just the way it presented the whole action scene and all that crap.
Yeah, but then make Fast and the Furious the video game. Don't make Fast and the Furious.
I think they tried
Need
to
for
at some
Speed.
point. Yes, it's Need for Speed has. It's had a very difficult history where they couldn't decide whether they wanted to make Burnout or Gran Turismo or Forza or like stick to the old formula. I remember the old Need for Speed was basically just at one point it was racing stock cars, at some point it moved to street racing, at some point it moved to... It doesn't have an identity. It doesn't have a specific identity or genre the same way Burnout has or Gran Turismo has. It sits in a constant state of flux. I'm falling behind, aren't I?
Quite.
Normally play this game with 4 players.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be played with 4 players.
Anyway, what else did EA do?
Then EA had the... They didn't have the car, did they?
No, that was Xbox.
Okay, no, that was Xbox. Yeah, so EA had a bunch of games. I don't remember much of it because some of it I was a little bit suspicious about because of how fishy it was. And I'm just going to drive around here for a second whilst I think. I'm not too phased about EA because as you all know that I have a grand hatred for EA because of what they did to my favorite video games.
Well, it's par for the course, basically.
It's part of the course.
What I did find surprising is how they didn't even say anything about the Mass Effect thing that went down. They never mentioned anything about, what is it again? Battlefield. I didn't notice any Battlefield there on the screen. It was surprisingly quiet. It was surprisingly tame for EA.
And I'm kind of happy for that. But then we got to to E3 proper now. I just want to skip through a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to discuss everything if you don't mind. Because some of the stuff I found utterly boring, like Microsoft and their, oh look, it's a new car.
No, Microsoft was throwing buzzwords like they're running for president. That's what I said. They're at 4K, native this,
Native
UHD, and
It was buzzword the story, but what happened is we saw the Xbox Scorpio, which was now just called the Xbox One X.
yeah.
So For those that perhaps did not notice this, is what am I trying to say? Oh yes. So, one reviewer, Miss Dale,
Need to put 3 tomatoes in there.
noticed something. That there's one video. Yeah, she's this one video game reviewer lady thing. She pointed something out. That the Xbox, its new acronym, is Xbox because it is the Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm.
And if you acronym that just spells Xbox, and people kind of cringed at that.
I did, but I don't really see what they're trying to achieve with the whole Xbox One X, especially since they technically already late to the party with a PS4 Pro already going out, and what's the name again? PC has been dominating the hardware space for a long time now, and I don't know exactly what they think they're gonna achieve with it.
Okay, so the new Xbox. It is the most powerful Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
All right, with how many floppy googers?
I think it was 800 teraflops or 80 teraflops.
No.
They mentioned numbers.
Yeah, they mentioned numbers. Oh, you know what you're getting confused by. You're getting confused by the data processing speed, which they mentioned. And the data processing speed of the new Xbox is quite high. But one thing they didn't mention was, oh yes, the teraflops.
Mm-hmm.
The terafloppity googers. And it is a 6 teraflop system. Now, what a teraflop is essentially, it is a measure of how many computations you can make in a certain amount of time. And this measurement is a little bit inaccurate because some companies measure flops differently. I know AMD definitely measures their flops differently. And because of this, it becomes a little bit difficult to quantify exactly what's going on. But most of the consoles are measured more or less the same. And it is so confusing.
Yes, it is.
It is
And
so
it gets
confusing.
so much worse.
I'm not looking forward to that. Come on, pick it up. Right.
We need tomato soup.
We need tomato soup. And it is the most powerful system because right now the PlayStation, unfortunately, is only a 4.2 teraflop system. So,
Last one. Yeah.
so the next Xbox is more powerful, yes.
The thing is it already too late for Xbox considering that the PS4 already came out ahead of time?
No, it is not. Can I tell you why?
Why?
Simply because it's a long-term thing. I know this because a lot of people still haven't bought a PS4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
A lot of people still haven't bought a PS4 Pro purely because not a lot of people know what's going on with it.
And do you think Xbox did a good job communicating what's going on with the Xbox Pro?
Well, the
One
Xbox X has a hugely physical design,
Mm-hmm.
lots of new features, and it hypes up the 4K resolution thing. So I think they did do a decent job at communicating that.
But
I just...
because we've always been skeptical about the whole mid-cycle, what you call it again, console release. It doesn't make... It feels kind of hand in fist like you're double dipping on a console generation.
You kind of are double dipping, yes, but I still see that as something that's genuinely not so bad.
Why did you throw the tomato away? Okay, yes. There.
What? What? What?
Yes. I'll take care of it.
So I didn't really finish chopping that. Could you chop that for me,
I
darling?
did.
This plate is dirty. So do I just chuck it?
Just plates don't get dirty anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. Stop passing me stuff.
Right. Poop.
No, madam.
Put it down. Put it down.
Yeah, it's done. More. Yeah, just take care of the mushroom. Entertainment
But
is
look.
finest. Yeah.
The reason why I say it was a success is purely because of the previous Xbox. The Xbox had less than a teraflop, now it has 6, which is a huge, huge difference when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Oh, put
Other
it
part.
down at the... Pick it up, you boob.
Again.
So it's a big difference. Games look great on it. The new Forza game, which is set in what's that country that I don't like?
All of them.
How funny.
America. No, what?
No, it's set in that country that I don't like, man. What's that country that I don't like?
Brazil.
Dubai.
Dubai. Oh yes.
Dude, pot.
Thing. Yep. I got you. Well, let's see. They had Microsoft had a really long car commercial for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, they got some sort of deal going with some sort of I forgot what it was.
Porsche 911.
Yes, the Porsche 911 deal.
Well, there's only ever Porsche 911s, in case you don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, well, they should have just said it's the new Porsche, and that brought me to tears. But what didn't bore me to tears was a bunch of indie stuff that they suddenly showed.
Yes, they're beginning into the hang of that now. What's the name? They've been doing a lot of it, because I remember last year was Unraveled, and they also showed a bit of last year's only Unraveled basically. But they've been getting into the indie scene. I think they see the value in that now. Finally, anyway.
Dude, this is not cooked.
Oh damn it!
Dude, it's cooked.
Yeah, I need a plate.
Put down the plate there.
Yep.
Mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the shrooms
I think
you
this
will
game
need.
is very distracting. I don't think it supports a good conversation.
No, it doesn't.
Want to swap something else?
No, not yet. Just finish this level.
Okay.
The problem is it's a high octane game, so it's difficult for us to keep track of what's going on.
Got you.
Pikachu, I choose you.
Okay.
Microsoft launched a bunch of pixel arty games.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is already the center of controversy because, oh no, the developer was part of Gamergate when that happened. Like, so what?
Yeah, that was. What time of the week, basically? It doesn't really make a difference anymore, does it?
Just disconnect yourself. I mean, there's this one great game, Fez, whose developer is a massive homophobe. You don't see me complaining about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just disconnect yourself. But anyway, that was the Microsoft conference. That was the only good stuff. Oh, something I want to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft had... let's just close this game.
Yeah.
Microsoft showed off Minecraft in 4K mode.
Yes, that was the most redundant oxymoron I've ever seen in my life.
It was so cringeworthy because everyone on the PC running the Java version just made it a spit take because, wait, we know. We're already running that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, does this support couch co-op?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's play that.
You've not played with people yet?
No, I have not played it yet.
Okay, the dialogue makes half the game, but it's... Yeah, I think we can manage it.
Why is it not full screen? Why is it window mode?
Because I had to play in window mode. I'll just turn to full screen. Let's do new one. Skip intro.
Yeah, skip intro. We know what the intro is.
And
This game's music is amazing.
yeah, just the whole thing. Everything the Behemoth makes has that. It has a really good, it has a Newgrounds feel to it, and it harkens back to the roots. Where is full screen mode? Oh crap, I think I actually started recording again. Anyway, so let's get back into it.
Alright, we had a second interruption there, sorry people, because it turns out that Pit People does not support the PlayStation 4 controller, which is rather interesting.
And there we go, there I am.
There you are with your...
My pit person with their thing, the swordfish.
With your more advanced character.
Slightly more. I never played much. The game, I played till the end of the first update. So, ready to go?
Yeah, I guess.
Cool. So you get to choose. You can either drive or be on the gunner. I'll drive.
Yeah, you drive because you know what you're doing.
You just have to shoot things.
Alright. So, what was the next conference after Microsoft?
Bethesda.
Bethesda!
Bethesda! God, I love Bethesda so much.
How do you shoot?
A.
Really? Because it's not shooting.
Just push buttons.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's Y.
Yeah. I don't think we would have a mission. We're just running around. So Bethesda, coming from, they were basically showstoppers last year to whatever the hell happened this year.
Well, I don't know. Bethesda didn't have that much of a problem.
Ooh.
Yeah, they look strong.
Three skulls is easy. Now you wanna go somewhere else.
Alright. Weird artwork.
Oh, they put new side quests. I never noticed. Okay, so
No,
so they showed absolutely nothing
Yes.
besides Wolfenstein and.
Well, okay, Wolfenstein's still the show. So there is a new Wolfenstein which I'm very excited for, but there is also a DLC for a standalone DLC actually, a standalone expansion for what's its face.
You can move your mouse around for Dishonored.
Yes.
You the purple, you the blue one. I'm purple. So I don't know why the zoom looks so funny this time.
How do you zoom out? Mouse wheel?
No. Oh yeah, you're supposed to move your select cursor all the way down to the bottom and hang up there. Basic mechanics, the cupcake heals your people.
I know.
And, yeah, okay, so you know then it's fine. And what? And push the one. But besides that, nothing happened at Bethesda. I'm just so shocked.
Well, if you go watch the reports that people have been giving, apparently all the action and the fun happened at the actual show floor. The actual show floor is where all the fun happened. And essentially what was going on there in that side of the world was drinking. Lots and lots of drinking. There was a booth that had a Wolfenstein theme to it. It had the scene from the trailer with milkshakes, alcohol-based milkshakes. They had a Dishonored scene where they had champagne. There was... I'm trying to remember now. What was there? I just watched the podcast this morning and it's already out of my mind. What else did I have? Come on. No, they had something that was really interesting.
Do they have games?
They didn't have all the games on show. They only had some of them on show for play. But it was just basically an inaugural amount of drinking, which I thought was absolutely hilarious.
I think, here's the thing, you go to these trade conferences, yeah, yes, to drink sometimes, but you go there to show your products, and they had no product to show. It's like if you had to go to a drug dealer and you had no drugs with you, what would be the point? There's nothing there.
I suppose.
I never understand what they were trying to do. I just don't understand. Why did they even go to E3 this year?
I guess because they have to.
Says who? I can understand being a company that doesn't have anything, okay? It happens a year, you have all your things on the back burner, nothing's ready to be shown on the floor. And you'd rather not go there and have nothing. Well, it was a really awkward time. But what they did show, they did have a VR Doom, which is interesting.
They showed the new VR Doom, and they introduced the teleporting mechanic, which most Doom games have, as something that is part of the game's story. How do you switch between characters, by the way?
I'm not sure about controller. I don't mean just mouse wheel up and down.
Because I want to keep
Archers, like they're doing nothing.
her there. I want to keep you there. You can also definitely stay there. You are a ranged character, so you have.
Yeah, he's ranged and melee.
And you cannot move there. The only place you can move. I need to get him away because it's very, very dangerous for him there.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Hmm?
You there. Okay. Anyway. Bethesda, I'm still happy with their conference because they showed me enough to keep me interested in what they were trying to sell me.
Skyrim again.
Skyrim VR, which was technically showed off at the PlayStation conference, which is something... Oh, I forgot to mention, yes, they also officially announced Fallout VR now as well.
Mm-hmm.
How it's working is a mystery to me because they didn't show how the Fallout VR was going to run. They just said they have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can stay there, you can stay there, you can stay there, and you can move up. Cool. They just said, alright, cool, look, here it is. Here is Fallout VR, here is Doom VR, which is a new story as well, it's not the same game over again.
Mm-hmm.
Skyrim VR was showed for the PlayStation conference, and I was still happy with it. But then we got the PlayStation conference, or rather we got the Ubisoft conference.
Yeah, the Ubisoft conference first.
Ubisoft conference, I'm in two minds about, because A, we saw proof that yes, indeed, people will straight up lie to you about having something or not having something in their game world.
Which one? Which game are you talking about?
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, okay. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
We knew Beyond Good and Evil 2 was coming.
Yeah.
Alright? We knew this for a fact that it was coming. And their PR company just flat out refused to acknowledge that it was coming. This bothered me more than it should.
Yeah, I think it does.
Like, why are you just flat out lying to people? What's wrong with you?
Ooh. Yeah. I'm not too angry about Beyond Good and Evil. Yeah, I know what they were trying to do. They wanted to make it a surprise, even though we knew it was somewhat obvious that it's gonna happen. What I'm more angry about is Assassin's Creed, basically. Assassin's Creed Origins.
Why are you angry about it?
I don't know, it's just Assassin's Creed was on a bit of a break for a few years. 2 years, I think.
No, well, 1 year.
Yeah, one year.
They skipped a year.
We call it a break now. Anyway, and what I saw did not intrigue me. It wasn't nearly enough for me to say, okay, I think I'd get back to Assassin's Creed now. And then they just ram home all of that, all the DLC and the Origins Edition or the God Mode. I don't even know. All these little packages, they just split the content in. They just tear the content into shreds and just piecemeal it out to you in these little packages. I like my favorite part of it, like, you know, there's a little spreadsheet showing you all the things you're gonna get with all the different editions.
Yes.
And the main one just says you're gonna get the full game. That doesn't hold any water anymore. You are not getting the full game, not with Ubisoft anymore. There's just so much fluff you have to go through to get to a point of playing a game. But what did intrigue me about Ubisoft was Skull and Bones, the ship shooter based on the Assassin's Creed 4 and 3 mechanics. That interested me a lot.
It interested me a lot as well because if everyone remembers, there was a video game by the name of Assassin's Creed 4 which was beyond buggy,
Mm-hmm.
and rather unfortunately, people didn't like the Assassin's Creed bit about it. They just said, look, we just want...
You just want the ship combat. That's all I cared about.
We just want the ship combat. The ship combat is the best bit.
Mm-hmm.
And to an extent, we did sort of get that.
And it's I know they're gonna Ubisoft it up again, okay? Because that's what they do to all their games.
And that's my first criticism of it, because it looks like it is going to be a game that's going to be microtransaction up the bazoo.
It's gonna do the thing that For Honor. It's gonna have all the flaws of For Honor. It's gonna be loot box based. Game impacting. Game impacting items. There's gonna be a lot of bad service in the first few months because, of course, there's gonna be. And I know there's gonna be microtransactions. It's gonna be broken, which is a shame because it looks like a good game. It looks like a very good game that I want to play. And what else did Ubisoft have to show? Far Cry 5? Is it 5 already?
Yes, it is Far Cry 5.
You said you have a bit of issue with it, I remember.
I have a bit of issue purely because of... I don't like video games that have a religious... Not undertone, that's the wrong word. But that just uses characters that are overly zealous about what they believe in. This was my issue with what was that video game that came out recently?
Outlast 2.
Yes, Outlast 2. I also had an issue with that because most of the time it always keeps portraying people from my religion as nut jobs, and I'm really not happy with that.
Have you not played games where there's Muslims in it?
Yeah, but
because it's the same thing from my perspective when it happens, when I'm on the side of the fence of it. And but what these games tend to do, okay, at least Far Cry 5, it's gonna be depicted as I think you saw in the trailer we had that one black, I don't know what you call his position, is he a father or priest or something?
Yes.
Who openly opposes them. I know there's gonna be that type of storyline, and from what I understand, it's showing it that these religious nutjobs are part of the minority. They forcing this community to do all these horrible acts, and it's going to be that whole liberation story that was somewhat the same in Far Cry 3 and in Far Cry 4. Only issue I have with Far Cry is it's fallen into the Assassin's Creed trap, where it's so formulaic. You know exactly we know what to expect. We know what the story was, or what it's going to be. We saw the same thing with Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 was a cutscene that happened to have a game in the middle of it. That's all Far Cry 4 was. There was no substance to it. It was just that, and that's the problem that Far Cry is having. Like I said, I would like it if Far Cry went to that crazy place that Blood Dragon went to, or Far Cry 1 even went to, where it told an interesting story, not a normal story, not within the realm of possibility, whatever that is in the Far Cry universe. But that's my take on it. But I'm also having a bit of issue with most Ubisoft games. Tell me, what was your favorite part of any Ubisoft game in the last, I'd say, 7 years?
In the last 7 years?
Yes.
I didn't have a single moment that was my favorite, but I guess I did still enjoy those video games, if that's what you're asking.
But Ubisoft games have fallen out. They're not... they follow the formula so well that they don't really have an identity of their own. Like the only things that I can recall from the Assassin's Creed series was the Leonardo da Vinci levels. In Assassin's Creed 2, if I remember. Oh, we failed. We're supposed to defend things.
Yes.
Oh well. You wanna go again? Let's finish him off. But like the Leonardo da Vinci were the only things I liked in Assassin's Creed 2 and the ship combat in 4. Other than that, I don't remember anything about the story. I don't remember any mission. Same thing with Far Cry. The only thing I remember is that bit in Far Cry 2. Far Cry 3, where you have to beat Zaz in that whole psychedelic place.
Okay, Far Cry. Ubisoft games definitely has a good set of set piece moments. What they lack is a good continuous set of events that draws you into a campaign.
Yeah, consistency, basically.
And I'm hoping, and I want to go back to this, I'm hoping that Assassin's Creed will have it. Because, first off, the visuals in that game are absolutely amazing. Origins has a brand new look and feel to it, brand new area, brand new music. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to play that. So that's something I'm looking forward to, personally. And I'm hoping that the story is at least different enough this time that it doesn't feel blasé. If you catch what I'm going with.
Yeah. But what does it need to do different? Can you quantify that thing that you want to see in Assassin's Creed?
I don't want it to be, okay, here's a dude, go assassinate him. Okay, here's a dude, go assassinate him. Oh, here's the big plot. And whilst we do the big plot, here's another dude, go assassinate him. Here's another dude, go assassinate him. I don't want that.
You don't want that, but you know what you do want from it. Can you identify that?
I want a continuous single story about a character, his journey, his adventure. And that's what Far Cry 3 technically did have.
It had for the first half.
No, Far Cry 3 had your character, was it Jason?
Yeah.
It had Jason's slow descent from an innocent little, I would say, teenage twat muncher from America being taught a hard lesson about what life really is, about how cruel life can be. You know? They did have that.
But you believe in that whole unified Ubisoft universe thing, where they are going to try to pull together all of these different games into some overarching story or overarching event?
I'm vaguely interested. I want to see where they go with it. I want to see how they tie Anno into all of this.
Anno, oh god. Anno is a... Anyway, that was Ubisoft. Made an effort. Who was after Ubisoft? Then we moved on to Sony, am I right?
Yes, then it was Sony. Then it was VR. A bunch of VR titles which I want, which has made me decide that I want to now go and buy a VR headset this Christmas.
Oh.
Because some of those VR games are coming out later this year.
VR games or experiences? There's a difference.
No, games. Genuine games. There was this little mouse-looking game, Moss, which looked adorable as all hell. There was... Trying to remember now. I hate it when games do this. Artificially lengthening the gameplay because they just have characters running away.
Yeah, it's an RPG. It's an RTS thing. I can't catch this guy. I legit can't catch this guy with any of my people.
Don't you have any ranged characters?
I do, but when you move a ranged character, then you half your attack.
Oh, I did not know that it did that bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm pushing him in a corner, so yeah. You done? That's it.
I think so. So let's
Okay,
just
cool.
move everyone closer.
Let's just finish this guy off.
Sony did show off, or rather, okay, you know what was lacking from E3 from Sony? There was no Last of Us.
Yes, nothing from Naughty Dog. Oh, there was the Uncharted one.
There was the Uncharted game, which I am looking forward to, but
You're looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to the Let's Play I'm going to watch of it.
Uncharted is a movie. It's an interactive movie. That's all it's ever been. I want to catch this guy. And I can't reach him. Damn it, I have to kill him. Yeah, there's things like Pokemon also. Well, it's like more slavery, but we call it Pokemon. Yay!
And then there's just this huge spray of blood that was kind of gross. Nice. I'm trying to think now. Let me pull up. Oh yeah, there was Dad of War. Dad of War was there.
Yes.
Yeah, the Marvel vs. Capcom demo. It kind of intrigued me because I thought it was interesting looking.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, and I've played the demo. I have it downloaded on my PlayStation. It uses You want to go back to town?
Sure.
Okay. they introduced a kind of slightly different way of combat.
Mm-hmm.
And that way is that you're no longer just blindly fighting two characters together. They now combo with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So in the game, you have your character you start off with,
I want to kill the guy.
a second character, and then you have a power-up or a power stone. So in the Marvel universe, there are the 6, power
Infinity
stones.
stones like that.
Yes. See me. The teacher's just writing there, see me. He's like, yeah, we'll see you later. So the time stone, for instance, makes your character go backwards 2 seconds. For instance, or the other power stone makes you punch really hard or fire a beam or something like that. Then you push the one shoulder button, which makes your two characters swap out. And then whilst the other characters swap out, they can recover a bit of HP if you swap them out soon enough. And they each have their own unique, distinct abilities. So I kind of enjoyed playing that for a bit.
I don't know if you have any fighters. Oh, they revamped the whole inventory system. I like it. Before it was like impossible to read.
No, I have no idea what's going on.
Basically, you have inventory slots, and the way you configure your inventory, it depicts how you're gonna fight, how you're gonna play the game, or what the abilities are. So one character, he can either be a tank, or he can be ranged, or he can be a shield. He can be any of these things, but it all comes down to the weight. So as soon as he gets overweight, then he's useless.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I equip items?
You just click on the inventory slot, and then you pick one of those there. So helmets make them more tanky. Certain weapons beat up helmets or break shields or just do straight damage. There's a lot of intricacies here, especially with the single characters. Then you get to pick monsters for your team and all that there. That's also pretty cool. So let's say I put like a mushroom in there, and he only has like cosmetic things and stuff like that.
Right.
So, a lot of depth to it. At one point, it was impossible to navigate any of these menus.
I just added a cookie into my ice cream, dude. A piece of waffle.
Yeah.
I'm really hungry now. This game's interesting. There was no mention of this company at E3 this year.
But the Behemoth. The Behemoth normally makes their appearances at PAX because they do a lot of indie stuff. To the pit! Wait, come on. Do that pit. 3v1. Oh, you're gonna verse me. You're not gonna beat me.
No.
That's what I try.
Of course I'm not going to verse you.
I installed Tekken specifically on the hope that you'd ask to play it.
You see, I'm terrible with fighting games. And yeah, even though I said I was interested in...
Marvel vs. Capcom?
Oh. Yeah, I'm interested in Marvel vs. Capcom, but it's easy enough to just play. You can just play and have fun with it. I don't like fighting games in general because of the principle behind them, fighting big trial modes or whatnot. I mean, I played them when I was little, when I had my PlayStation 1. I remember one of my favorite games that I always played as a kid was...
Street Fighter or...
no, I never played the Street Fighter games. I briefly played the old Mortal vs. Kombat games at a friend's house once. But you know what fighting games I played? Dragon Ball GT, The Final Bout, Dragon Ball Z, and what's that game? Gundam
fighting games.
Did you know that there was a Gundam fighting game?
No, I know there was a Gundam game which I used to love playing because they had a lot of configuration options. But
there was a Gundam fighting game, dude, and it was absolutely terrible, and I loved playing it. Played it every freaking day of my life. It was so amazing.
Remember, I used to play another fighting game. Okay, the only fighting game I ever really was good at was Tekken. I was never ever good with Street Fighter or any of those other ones. So what I used to do is, before I even had the PlayStation, I used to go to the mall, I think it was Eastgate. I used to go to the Toys R Us and I used to sit in front of that Tekken 3 for hours on end. Sad childhood. Anyway, so after Marvel vs. Capcom, what else did Sony have that I was interested in? Sony had another game that they showed.
What?
I don't know the name. What?
Describe the game to me.
Shit. It was also no, it wasn't 1v1. It was it's the indie thing for the PS4. I think it was on the show floor. I think everyone comes to me. Anyway, besides that, also what happened? Besides the press conference, also did we miss any press conferences?
There was the very interesting press conference.
Which one? Divolver Digital.
Divolver Digital.
I sent you that one. Because I remember I spoke about it a bit last week, where I said Devolver's going to have a conference, and I love them as a developer, and they make some interesting things, or they publish some interesting things. But I was thinking, like, what could they possibly have to show the entire gaming community? And they showed us 15 minutes of truth, which I loved.
This is what the video gaming industry is.
Yeah.
And it was glorious.
Yeah.
Absolutely
it's just that thing that we needed to like sit back and realize that how broken this as an industry is. It's just like even the title card, tomorrow's unethical practices today, kind of said it all.
It kind of did, yeah. I was kind of happy with that.
Because we fall into this hype vacuum and fanboying and all of that. It's just it was interesting. But they did show off a few of their older games, if I remember correctly.
To a certain extent, they did. Most of which I own, I haven't even played yet.
You haven't played? Oh, okay, yeah, because we're all in that stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, I have a work life, you know. I have to do job stuff, and that means I can't play video games as much as I want to.
But when you think about it, like I know Devolver, they
Why is your phone not on Do Not Disturb mode?
Because of work things.
But I want to go to some specific games, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So here's a list of video games that were announced at E3 and then are going to launch this year. Mostly that never happens. Usually it's a year's wait. So it's the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Oh, we can't get back to one thing we forgot.
What?
Nintendo.
I never watched it.
You've not seen the Mario Odyssey trailer?
No, of course not.
Ooh. Here's the thing. Zelda was not enough for me to consider getting a Switch. Mario Odyssey is. If I never had to buy a car this month, I would legitimately go and buy a Nintendo Switch just for Mario Odyssey.
Alright. I have a Wii U. I bought the Wii U for the Zelda game. Then they said, no, the Zelda game is going to be a launch title for another platform. Yes, you'll still have it, but it's going to be a launch title for another platform. And I felt sort of semi-betrayed. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to support you guys anymore.
Yeah. But the thing is, we know Mario Odyssey is coming in this year. I think in...
Yes, it is.
So we know that, and I saw that it's that leap that we had from Mario SNES to Mario 64. This is kind of the leap that they're taking with Odyssey. And I'm interested in it. Besides that, I'm also not sure what Nintendo wants to do. Are they supporting the Switch? Are they pushing the 3DS? I don't know, because they're very inconsistent with their messaging. They're showing some 3DS games. They're announcing what again? If I remember, the new Metroid. They're gonna have one on 3DS. They're gonna have one on the Switch, and I don't know what they want to do. I really don't know.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, definitely. I can agree with you that it's a bit confusing because we don't know what's happening with whom, but it's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
So, Assassin's Creed Egypt is being released this year. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is being released this year. The new XCOM DLC is being released this year, which is another 80 hours of my life just flushed down the toilet. The new Wolfenstein is being released this year, which is another 10-20 hours that's just gone. Middle-earth Shadow of War is being released this year, which is also another many handful of hours just gone. Just absolutely gone. I won't be doing anything. So that is quite interesting.
But most of these things were, if not announced, at least mentioned within the last 12 months. So
not the XCOM DLC.
The XCOM, it was implied. When XCOM released about 2 years ago, we knew they're going to have the XCOM DLC. But what I'm worried about now is, what are they going to have to show at the next E3? Because normally you have a type of build up, so I know I can expect like EA's Anthem or BioWare's Anthem is gonna be announced next year. That's about 2-3 years away from completion. And besides that, what else do the publishers or developers have on the cards?
Well, okay, this is something I wanted to get into technically, but you seem to have moved on.
Oh, sorry.
The games that are being announced. I'm happy that they're coming early enough because XCOM was the wonder child that was just suddenly popular with all kinds of stuff and people didn't expect it to be popular and I loved it. I loved it for that. Same thing with Wolfenstein. No one expected Wolfenstein to be popular and they're coming again so soon. This is what I love about the game industry now. The game industry is no longer taking long times, or at least as long as they used to. Game industry is now being a bit more chop with their titles. If that makes any sense.
And it is to be expected. It's a maturing industry. We suddenly have the skills available. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yes. And about your thought, yes. E3 was quite jam-packed in certain extents, but not as jam-packed as last year. They didn't have much to show. I'm thinking that there's going to be more to show next year. Because Sony, for instance, didn't have all that bigger stuff going on. I mean, they had their VR stuff, but they didn't have that bigger stuff going on. Microsoft was hyping all of their stuff up, and I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think that is genuinely why we had Sony doing next to nothing. Because why did they have to do anything?
They kind of played all their cards in the last few months.
Sony played their cards at the Sony press conference, their own little press conference thing, and they played all their cards last year. We had all the fun, fancy Sony stuff. This year was Microsoft's, and I think Sony made a business decision to not announce anything big this year because they were going to have to compete directly with Microsoft. They'd rather wait, develop something new or interesting, and then release it next year. You know what was absent this year? Microsoft's VR support. Do you know what Microsoft was bashing on and on and on about when they officially announced the Scorpio last year?
It would support VR.
It would support
I
VR.
remember that.
No VR. Absolutely nothing.
But VR is a very tricky place to play in right now. Especially because a lot of people, myself included, considered it an arrival with the initial offerings and the initial experiences that they saw. Now we're starting to see it coming in its own. We're starting to see developers play with it. And I think it's kind of a trap that the Wii fell into. Where they had this hardware, but it wasn't as accessible. Now they're kind of moving out of it where the platform is open enough that developers can pick it up and start developing on the fly. And like you said, the game industry is moving a lot faster. Whereas companies like Nintendo they don't, basically. So VR might be a thing, but also then who is on board with Microsoft's VR? Have any developers announced that they might be considering it, that they're going to be...
But the Microsoft VR wasn't its own thing. The Microsoft VR was going to be Oculus.
It was going to be, but Oculus has that... Oh yeah, because Oculus is the platform.
Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It was going to be the Oculus thing.
And the thing is, like I said, I never really believe in VR until like last week when I played Perception in VR. It wasn't real VR, it was like fake VR, but still, it was a VR experience. Was it enough though? I'm not sure. I still think VR should move in direction of a more I still think VR should move more towards a social thing and less of an individual investment. Because think about it like this here, VR is a hell of an investment and it requires space and time and a lot of hours to get going and a lot of hours to enjoy properly. I was thinking, why don't we move VR, like we get to a point where we have VR bars or VR stations where you can go to game stores and experience VR in an environment where you don't have to put the initial investment down.
I agree with you. Who's going to make that initial investment?
As I say, a game store or a game company or someone who can sponsor it, because Right now, I don't see the value. I don't see the value proposition or the value output that you expect from VR. That's just my take on it. But Microsoft, what are they planning for it? Because we know they have a powerful machine, and we know they have the hardware to support it, and they had the software with Oculus. It's gonna be interesting for that.
I guess I would say yes. I am intrigued. What their plan is, no idea.
No idea.
Haven't the foggiest.
Yeah. And we've been talking for an hour now.
We've been talking for an hour, which I was a little worried about.
Yeah.
But VR, I would say, would be the thing that I'm interested in now, because there is a bunch of new games that's not coming out on the Sony platform. We do know that the Sony VR headset is not as fancy, but it is definitely compatible with the PC if you have the right software installed, which I am planning to get. And there are a bunch of titles that I just want to sit and enjoy, get friends over and just enjoy playing the game.
Because we have seen some good releases with, I think it was Star Trek Bridge Crew, good couch game that's VR based, and that's the thing, I can't think of many others. That's the problem with it. Anyway, let's just...
I would say, look, this is what I would say, alright? VR is starting to mature a bit. Not as big as the industry is hyping it up to be, but I would say it's definitely start time to getting into it. One thing that I do indeed wish that people would stop getting into would be this idea that everything has to have a multiplayer mode now.
Oh, definitely. If games like Wolfenstein have proven something, that there is still market for good single player adventures or single player campaigns. Anyway, well, we're getting really into this right.
Quite.
So we're gonna wrap it up there?
I think we can wrap it up, but before we do, there was something I wanted to mention, a game that I wanted to mention. What was all the announcements that was going on?
Not all of them really, but...
What was all the announcements going on? Oh yes, the game I missed, South Park. South Park is finally coming
South Park, yes.
South Park and Cuphead, both games that I have tried on various demo floors, are finally being released. And I can still safely say that they are both rubbish.
South Park?
It's still... Okay, look, South Park is still the game that is definitely, it is doing what South Park is supposed to be doing. It's a game that takes the art style, takes the story writing, and it brings it to life. Yes, but... Yeah. And this is a big stinky but. It's going a bit far for my taste, personally.
You concerned South Park is going too far?
Yes, okay, I know that's something that they're technically supposed to be doing, but still, I'm not... How to say this without sounding like a twit? I'm not as interested in it as I was with Stick of Truth. Purely for the reason that Stick of Truth said, hey look, this is a South Park game that looks like South Park. And then South Park Treasure About Hole's like, hey, it's the same thing, but with a slightly fancier UI. And then Cuphead, which finally got a release date, something that I was very interested in, using the visual style of the old Disney cartoons. It looked absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. Game finally gets pushed out of the door, all right, or at least show floor type of door thing. I play it, garbage.
Just where did you fall flat? It just the look, feel, gameplay.
Gameplay was slow and janky. UI was terrible. I couldn't see what was going on where. It wasn't communicated to me that well. What I had to do with what enemies. It felt, and I know people are going to say, oh no, yes, it is unfinished game, but it felt more than just unfinished. It felt just terrible.
Okay, so that was our E3 train wreck. I'm still severely tired and I actually have to get running to Moscow right now. So, thank you all for listening. Chris, do you want to take us out?
Yes, Moaz, are you still hungry?
always. That's just not even that because I'm fasting. That's just in general right now. Cool.
So, Mars is hungry. Send food.
Send food.
That's
You
how I'm gonna
can
lead on.
save a starving child in Africa.
Okay, but hold on a second.
Yep.
That's something I completely forgot because we're so unfocused on this topic.
Yeah.
The PlayStation iteration thing, right? The PlayStation Xbox iteration thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's feeling a bit unfocused. Yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Kind
of like our show.
I'm kind of enjoying it as the way it's going. Because we're getting...
Crap, we did well. Sorry.
There's a lot of trophies in that. Wow.
Yeah.
I kind of like the way it's going because we're having a platform that can play the games that it previously has played, but it's better now. Better performance, better visuals. Some games are not taking advantage of it, but they are, for instance, taking advantage of the 4K aspect and 60 FPS aspect, for instance.
Yeah.
And I enjoy this.
You do?
I enjoy this because now, for instance, on my PlayStation 4 Pro that you can see over there, when I put Ratchet and Clank in it, it ran at a beautifully upscaled, super sampled 60 FPS. Ran absolutely fantastically. I'm looking forward to seeing the next generation of PlayStation coming around saying, okay, cool, you can still play the same games again, and they look even better now.
Well, so that's looking forward to the future.
Yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to long-term future. Short-term future, there's a convention I'm going to tomorrow.
Yes, I'm also going with you.
I can't.
Yay.
I can't. I'm carpooling with someone though, so you're not going with me.
Oh no,
per se.
I'm also going there.
But will you be staying for the comedy night?
I won't be able to.
My good friend. Oh.
I know, I'd love to, but I actually have to get running right now. So, thanks for listening, everyone. As always, if you liked
this this random rambling, please don't share it because this is
this is really, really bad.
This is our inconsistent version of the podcast. We will of course be pointing links to the YouTube upload once that is up. I will of course be delaying the iTunes upload for this as well, and there will be links in the description of everything that happened, including links to the favorite discussions about my games that I'm looking forward to. And by the way, the reason why I'm looking forward to the new XCOM DLC is because they're adding not just little bits of content, they're adding
invasives.
Yes.
I love that.
And that's what I'm
Anyway,
looking for.
so we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Cheers.